Hi all, Colin Bushell here with a very short introduction to a slightly longer than normal video, but it is extra special, especially for those people who, like me, live in the Gap. So I'm going to be revealing some of my favourite photography locations that I've explored over the last few months in particular, and also seeing it from some slightly different angles, which should be some fun. For those of you who don't live in the Gap, I apologise, but hopefully you'll find it equally entertaining and maybe get a little bit of inspiration out of it too. Okay, let's not waste any more time. Let's get to it. Okay, well, here we are at Enoggera Dam. As you can see, it's pretty bright sunlight here, about midday. This can be a challenging place for landscape photography, especially this time of day. The best time to get here is really early in the morning for sunrise, or about half an hour before the sun sets over here in the west. And then about 15 minutes afterwards, you get those lovely glows. If you can get some good cloud cover with a good sunset, this place is spectacular. There's some good trees in the foreground, which I've used in the past for sunsets in particular. But as I say, these vast expanses, as much as they look beautiful, they're often very challenging to get landscape shots out of. If you're a wildlife photographer, then this whole area around the dam is just thriving with wildlife. We've got turtles and we've got goannas and bird life. We've got wedge-tailed eagles seen here and white-bellied seagulls, channel-billed cuckoos, apart from all the water birds and everything that goes on here. So if you're a wildlife photographer, spend a couple of hours wandering around here and you're guaranteed to get some success. So it's a beautiful spot, and I've been fortunate enough to get some cracking photographs here over the years. So this is the spot I get asked about. Now that's the sound you don't hear too often in these parts, that be an aeroplane. So Yep, don't hear many of them at the moment, but there's probably the one plane a day coming in of or leaving Brisbane. So there you go, a rare sight in the gap. But in all seriousness, this is the one location I use quite a lot. Well, I use quite a few in a lot, but this is a particular popular location. This is the amazing boardwalk that goes off here into this cracking light pretty much any time of day, early morning, once the sun's high enough, early morning, sort of even now, like sort of we're approaching sort of late morning, and the ripply sun through here is amazing. Difficult for portrait sometimes when it lights on people's faces, but these leading lines and this extra colour that comes in is absolutely stunning. Around about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, or about an hour and a half, depending on what time of year, before sunset, the light's coming in from these corners over here, and you can get those amazing sort of light effects and light glows and the sun rays and that sort of thing relatively easily. So this is always a good spot, and I just keep coming back to it. Okay, so I've come down to the creek again. This time I'm between the Payne Road State School, which is that direction, and this direction is the shopping centre. This is a pretty fertile area for photography, again, especially if the water is running through here. There's two directions in which you can shoot pretty much. This bridge behind me, which you can make out hopefully over my shoulder here, is the one that runs across the creek higher up. And again, if you get there in the early hours of the morning, or the first couple of hours of sunlight in the morning, the leading lines across that bridge with the gap mural behind it is a really cracking time to take some shots. Earlier in the year when we ran the gap photography competition, we got some great shots from there. My only advice would be to do those shots, as I say, early in the morning when that glorious sunlight is pouring through across the bridge, and that will give you that extra special shot. Similarly, if you go further down this creek, and you can, if you're brave, you can sort of fight your way down the edges here. You may come across the odd shopping trolley. I can't apologise on behalf of the people who dump them enough. But there is some really lovely vantage points down there of the creek, and also the bridge high above you. So nice portrait shots with the sun coming over the creek. So have a look at a couple of shots that I've taken that I'm talking about there, and then we'll just turn this camera around, and you'll see that there's at least 2 or 3 good shots worthy the other way. Okay, so looking in the opposite direction, we've got this little causeway bridge here with these nice circular underside, and in the distance down there in the creek, you've got one of the more famous reflections where the tree branches like that one goes over the top of the creek and the other one's reflected in the water. That always makes for a cracking shot. And I was down here when there was a bit more water in and someone had let go of their football, and even that floating in the water added a new dimension. But this area, low down through this bridge, on the bridge, across the bridge, again at the right time of day with the right type of light, this bridge will give you 3 or 4 cracking shots. Okay guys, so here's another location that not a lot of people know about. That's mainly because this is Loch Navar Lane, and a little road bridge that goes across, comes down from behind the police station off of Waterworks Road and then goes up into some residential houses up here, of which there are only a few, so the road's not well used. But again, we haven't got a lot of water in the creeks at the moment, but there's still some in here. And I've used this location in the past for a family shot of actually 19 people, which was a big challenge, I can tell you, on the day, but it turned out, I think, pretty special. We got all 19 people up here on the bridge, and they were all reflected perfectly in the water, while I stood in the middle of the creek, which is the risks you have to take. But another great location, really good when the light is again low, so maybe late in the afternoon with just a little bit of more subtle light than's on here at the moment. But you know, get your feet wet, come down a little embankment here. You can stand on this causeway. It's a bit slippy, but you can stand on the causeway, shoot straight down, get down nice and low, and you really do get some pretty spectacular shots from here. Okay, so here I am underneath the 2 Walton bridges. It's hard to tell that when you're driving over them, but the old stone one, which I'm underneath here, and this modern steel and concrete structure, which you can't see, but I can. This is a good shot for photography because there's lots of different light patterns under here throughout the day. Lots of texture on these different types of surfaces. You've got this causeway that runs through here, and when the water is running, I know this is a recurring theme, but the water runs over this causeway, a nice sort of slow exposure, beautiful light contrast in the background, and you're going to get a cracking shot from what most people just walk underneath and ignore. So another one, bring the camera down late in the day, and I particularly like earlier in the morning. So I think the shots I'm going to show you from memory were taken about 8 o'clock in the morning. So give it a go. Okay, so here I am at another one of the Gap's little hidden locations. I only discovered this little path a few months ago when somebody on the Gap grapevine asked me to check it out. And I've lived here 15 years, so I didn't know it existed. But just past Loch Navar Lane back there, you do a left and this path wraps alongside the creek. some more really good shots in the creek, especially when the light's looking good and the water's running. I know I'm a stuck record. But this one particular point here, there's this tree with these amazing twisted branches, vines. Someone will tell me the correct terminology, I'm sure. But come down here late in the afternoon when it's otherwise reasonably gloomy, but there's still some sunlight shafting through these trees. And this is a very impressive sight indeed. So nice wide angle lens, come down, get as far back as you can over there, shoot back towards this tree, and it looks pretty impressive. Okay, well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed that little trip around the gap. If you've got any questions about the video, the locations, or photography in general, please feel free to drop me a line. As always, my Facebook page and Instagram details are all at the end of this video. Also, if you'd care to subscribe to the YouTube channel I've created, there's plenty more of these videos coming up, so looking forward to that. In the meantime, everyone, please stay safe, and I will hopefully see you again very soon. Take care now. Bye.